Hello YouTube, long time no see. I've taken quite the hiatus from making videos recently. About a year ago, my high school alma mater called me up and said, hey, Emily, can you come drop everything and teach music at our elementary school campus? And I was like, okay. So I did, and if any of you know, music teaching of any sorts requires a lot of time and attention, especially in your first year. All that to say is that I haven't had a chance to really make videos in quite a while. I will say this too, I also lost my sojo there for a little bit, but I certainly have it back. And I'm excited to make a couple things. I have fabric and patterns ready to go for a few fall items. But the one I wanted to work on this weekend is, as you can see from the title of this video, kind of a Reformation dress knockoff, but for Halloween. And here's how I'm gonna do it. I found this pattern. It is McCall's. I love McCall's 7971. And you can kind of see it has a very Reformation vibe to it with the A-line skirt and the slit. And then I don't think the front of this shows it, but the back is like an open back. I'll insert a picture of the dress that I've been inspired by. And I think that this is very similar to it. So I'm excited for that. But now that I'm a school teacher, I'm having a lot more fun dressing for the kids. That means lots of fun patterns, fun colors, that sort of a thing. And I'm anticipating Halloween coming up. I wanted to make a dress that was Halloween-esque, but still appropriate for work and wasn't too costumey. And I found this fabric from Joann's. It's cotton, and from far away, it looks like just a cute little floral pattern, I think. But really close up, you can see there's little ghosts and little pumpkins. So I thought that was so cute. I am gonna make this Reformation style dress with this cotton. My only fear is that it's kind of a quilter's cotton. It's a little bit heavy, and I'm a little bit nervous about the drape. I feel like that dress would work really well with like crepes and that sort of a thing. So we'll see about this fabric, but I have all my pattern pieces cut out already. I'm just gonna jump in and start cutting out my fabric and get going, and we'll see how it goes. I am making view D, but I don't think I'm gonna do the sleeves. I think I'm gonna do the view D skirt, so the longer skirt, but the view C bodice. The pattern calls for lining. I'm also not gonna line it, but I think it's gonna work really well. I'm excited about this pattern in particular. I've got high hopes for this one. McCall's has been hitting it out of the park recently. I think they've got a lot of really good patterns, so I'm excited to try another one. Yay! Here we go, let's start cutting. So the first step of every dress is always the darts, which I've done. One thing I really like about this pattern is that they've got 3 different pattern pieces for your cup size. So they have like an AB cup, a C cup, and a D cup. According to the package, I would be the largest cup. However, when I looked online to see other people's renditions of this dress, I noticed that the biggest mistake or thing that I didn't like was that most of the bodice fitting was kind of off and a little bit schlumpy slouchy. So I'm doing a C cup, and I'm hoping that it fits a little bit more perfectly. The nice thing about darts is that you can always adjust it, but I think that's gonna work actually. Also, I'm watching Anchors Away, which is an old Gene Kelly movie. I'm always in the mood for old movies when I'm sewing. Me and my husband went to the Hollywood Bowl a couple weeks ago for the 50th anniversary thing, and I'm, of course, a musician and a big Hollywood Bowl nerd, and it's in the movie, and I have to show you because I love it so much. Well, I ended up having to do a lining after all because I couldn't figure out a pattern hack to avoid it, but that's fine. I had lining material in my scrap pile, which I think is kind of amazing. So it's lightweight, it won't add too much heaviness to it, which is fine. It's very dark in here all of a sudden. It's not even 5 p.m. yet, and yet the sky is kind of dark outside. I'm wondering, I should look it up. There's probably a fire. Southern California, it's fire season. It's also 110 degrees outside right now. So we might have to transition into nighttime mode a little bit early. I am going to turn this, I forget how to do this. Wait, can you just turn it inside out? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Hold please. Well, I made my first mistake on this project. I was thinking, man, this is going so well and so quickly. And then I really messed up bad. I'm getting tired, clearly, but there's 4 panels for the back skirt, and I set one aside and then forgot about it and sewed 3 panels together and forgot about the zipper in the back and the whole thing. And now I have to take out one of these super, super long seams, which is a real bummer because I did all French seams. So it's like twice the amount of work to take out 2 seams essentially. I'm thinking I may turn on a movie or a show and sit here and pick at the seam and then call it a night because I clearly don't have the brain capacity for this anymore. So I'll sign off for now. To be continued. Good morning. It's a new day. I'm still working on the dress. It is surprisingly cloudy and rainy today in Los Angeles, which is very, very rare for us. Very exciting. So I have a cozy day at home of sewing. I did a little bit of sewing already this morning and basically finished my back and front panels for the skirt. So they're ready to be put together. And I did French seams for everything, including the pockets and the zipper and the vent, which is doing a French seam on a vent is a new thing for me, and I really like the look of it. So I'm going to show you how pretty it looks on the inside. It's always so satisfying when it looks just as pretty on the inside as on the outside. Let me show you. Okay, so a little bit of bad news. I just did my first fit of this, so I'm trying on the bodice and the skirt, but I haven't attached them together yet. I know that it looks okay in the video here, but listen, the skirt's too small. Can you tell? It's like really hugging me right here, and the pockets are gapping. Ugh. As far as fitting goes, the worst case scenario is that it fits too small, right? Because it's hard to let things out. I mean, I've got a little bit of seam allowance that I can take out with my French seams. It's just gonna be a lot of work. Like, I'm basically gonna have to undo all of these seams and just let them all out like 1/4 of an inch just to give me like 2 more inches of space in my waist area so that these pockets can land a little flatter. It's either that or go on a crazy diet for a dress, which duh, I'm not gonna do. You make the clothes for your body, right? It's worth doing. I think also, I'll say this, I think this is maybe partly the fault of choosing a non-stretchy cotton. I think that if I had chosen a fabric that had a little bit of stretch to it, I wouldn't be having this kind of problem. I think that I would have just enough room to kind of stretch and have it lay a little bit more comfortably or drape a little bit more comfortably. But as it is, this kind of fabric really does require a dress like this to be pretty perfectly tailored. So that is a challenge with the pattern I chose and with the fabric I chose, but listen, we're gonna make it work. So I'm gonna take a quick break from seam ripping just because I feel like why not have a little break and talk about some books. I don't know. I've been listening to an audiobook as I've been sewing today, and it's so good, so I have to recommend it. Also, don't mind me, I'm rather shiny right now because it is 83 degrees in here and also very humid. It's like weirdly very tropical today, but I don't know. It's just a Saturday afternoon, so I'm not gonna do much about it right now. Okay, back to books. I have been listening to this book, How to Read Literature Like a Professor. This was recommended to me by an English teacher friend of mine who's in my book club with me, and we're all reading this for my book club. You can see I've got some bookmarks in here. It should be required reading for all high school English students. It's so good. It basically goes through all of the different motifs and metaphors and things in literature to kind of see what to look for. So like every time a journey is mentioned, that has significance in literature, stuff like that. So good. Highly recommend. I also bought 3 books yesterday that I'm really looking forward to. I'm already on chapter 5 of this one, Bully Market. So far really good. It's about a woman's experience working for Goldman Sachs back in the 90s, early 2000s. And it kind of gives a day-to-day account of what happens in an environment from her point of view as a single young woman. No, single and then married young woman. Fascinating stuff. And then I haven't read these yet, but I also bought this, which is a new release called The Marriage Portraits by Maggie O'Farrell, who also wrote Hamnet. If you're into books or booktube or book talk or bookstagram, you know Maggie O'Farrell, and this is her newest release, so I'm looking forward to that. Same thing with Taylor Jenkins Reid. Everybody knows her online these days. I got her newest book as well, like just came out. So I've read every single one of her books, almost every single one of her books, and I am really looking forward to this one. So that's my book pile in front of me. I'm almost done with the audiobook of this one. I think I have about an hour left, so I'm gonna get back into that, finish my seam ripping, finish my adjustments, and then I'll be back here to show you what it looks like after I've made my little alterations. Okay, alterations actually worked out pretty well. I've got a little bit more room in here. The pockets are laying flatter. It's actually like quite fitted, but as it is, I think it's okay. I think it's gonna work. I just tried it on. I attached the bodice and I put it on with the hook and eye, and I'm still not loving the fit of the bodice. You can kind of see there's like a lot of room here in particular, but I'm thinking that it actually fits if I, instead of doing a hook and eye, if I overlap it a little bit more in back and do buttons all the way up the back. Kind of see how that's just a little bit more snatched. I like this dress. I feel like this silhouette has kind of like a 60s vibe to it. And then I know you can't see the whole dress right now, but the slit and everything, it's nice. It's like a tailored dress. I feel good about it so far. I'm mostly looking forward to making this again in a different material. I feel like this is a good experiment, and it's kind of fun for Halloween, of course. I'm liking this pattern though. So today is the last day of September, which means I'm really hoping to get this dress finished today so that I can wear it for October, starting tomorrow. I actually pretty much have the whole thing done. When I finished the closing in the back and then tried it on, I felt like it was still a little too blousey in the bodice area, which is the problem I was trying to avoid. So I decided that I was just gonna overlap it a little bit and put in some buttons and buttonholes. So I actually made some little covered buttons, which have, like, this one's a cute one. It's got a little ghosty on it. You can kind of see that there. So cute. So little covered buttons for down the back. I had to wait a little bit because my buttonhole foot is broken, so I had to order a new one and wait for that to come in the mail, but it's here. It's the last step I have to do, just those buttonholes and sewing on these buttons. and then I'll try it on, and hopefully that's it. I think that I've pretty much done all the fitting at this point. So just the buttons, yay! I get so nervous for buttonholes. I did a test run, and out of 5 tries, only 1 of them worked. Not great stats so far, but at least I got 1. I think I nailed the trick of it. Whew, wish me luck. Okay, I finished all 5. I feel like the first one was terrible. I might have to try to do that one again. But then they progressively got better and better and better. I've never done buttonholes very well, but that's not the worst in the world. Of course, I'm gonna clean up the threads and everything. But overall, I mean, it's not too terrible. There's a button in that buttonhole foot on my sewing machine. Can you grab it?
All right, cool. What's a buttonhole foot?
So the plastic thing attached to the thing area where the needle is. Look behind the sewing machine. Do you see a button? It's a black button.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
Okay.
just pull it up? Thank you. All right. What is a?
Happy to help.
So great.